Hello, everyone, and welcome to some guidance from the Akashic Records and also a look at Mercury retrograde. We are in the midst of retrograde season right now. Mercury is retrograding through the sign of Pisces, and I feel this is it's been coming up a lot lately. I'm seeing people talking about Mercury retrograde in many different spaces, and I want to give you some guidance, my perspective as an astrologer, as well as somebody who is certified in the Akashic Records, how I like to manifest by working with retrogrades. Hi, Tony. How are you? Hi, Jennifer, Caramel, Laura. Welcome. So definitely say hi as you are jumping on. Hi, Vicki. If you're new to me, welcome. It is so nice to have you here. So I love guiding women to manifest, co-create magic with the universe by working with astrology as well as in the space of the Akashic Records. They go magically together. And the Akashic Records are this energetic space that contain past, present, and future. So all the wisdom of the past, the present, and the future, all converging in the power of the now. And each person has their own records. We all have records. We all have a unique soul journey. In addition to people having their own Akashic records, there's also like crystals have their own records as well. Locations have their own records. And another way to see it is tapping into collective consciousness, tapping into the mind of God. It's a space that we all have access to, and it's just been transformational in my life. Hi, Laura. Welcome, Rita. Oh, it's so nice to have you here live. Hello, Victoria, Kristen. Who else do we have? So definitely say hi as you're popping on. I love to be able to welcome you in. And today I'm really excited to talk about this idea of blocks or like self-imposed limitations. Are they really just an illusion? Because this was one of the most life-changing parts of studying the records for me, and one of the main, one of the first messages I received as I learned to navigate the space, access this energetic realm, it was around this idea of the blocks that we experience in our life, or these limitations, and most importantly, this idea that they are actually just an illusion, that they don't exist. And one of the first times that I opened the Akashic Records, this message came through that there are no such thing as blocks. And this is such like a big part of my work, and it was a really big thing back then when I was studying the records of like helping people release like limiting beliefs, release the blocks, anything that prevented them from being in alignment with what they desire to attract, what they desire to manifest. So hearing this message that there are no such thing as blocks was huge, and something that I wanted to like dive more deeply into, because we can certainly feel like we experience blocks from time to time, whether it's more money we want to manifest and we feel like something's preventing us from having that, whether it's like losing weight and we feel like something's blocking that, or attracting our like twin flame or soulmate partner. It can definitely feel along the way that at times in our life there are things that are blocking us from experiencing what we desire. So the main insight on this topic and why it really is just an illusion is that we create the blocks. The blocks would not be there unless we bring them into the equation. So let me know if that resonates. It makes sense. I think this is huge. This idea that they would not even exist if we didn't bring them into the equation. And I got deeper clarity on this the other day. I was doing a podcast called Align and Thrive. It's going to be out in April. I was a guest on the podcast. It's not mine. It's with Rebecca. It's called Align and Thrive. But we got into this discussion around the records, and this idea of blocks came in. And I actually really love her take on this, as we were kind of talking about the ideas that they actually don't exist. They wouldn't be there at all unless we created them and we brought them into our experience. And Rebecca, so the host of this podcast, Align and Thrive, she was talking about how it's kind of like anxiety, or when we worry about something that hasn't yet happened. It actually doesn't even exist yet. Like, have you ever had that experience of like being worried or anxious about things that you just thought of in your mind that were actually not even happening yet? I know, like, as somebody myself, I've had anxiety definitely in the past. I've learned so many ways to manage it, but it used to be very powerful in my life, right? And just thinking of like worst case scenarios and getting worked up over all those things. So Rebecca compared this idea of like, the anxiety, the thing we're worried about, is an illusion and that it hasn't even happened yet, but we're experiencing it in our mind. So the same is for like these blocks that we can feel we experience in our life and on our journey. They actually, often they haven't even happened. They don't need to be there at all unless we decide they're going to be, right? By setting these self-imposed limitations. Otherwise, they're not there, because when we have a desire, we have something we want to manifest, whether it's like calling in those soulmate clients, filling up a program, feeling confident in like stepping out into the world, offering our gifts and services to the world. In the records, it's infinite possibilities, so it's done. If we have that desire, we have that thing we want to create and bring to the world, it's like, of course it's done. Because from the eyes of our higher self, there's only worthiness, there's only potential, there's only, if you have a desire in your heart that's aligned with the highest good for all, of course you get to experience it here on the physical plane. Of course you get to like share those gifts with other people and enjoy this life experience. So it is done. So the only reason we would experience a block or a limitation is if in our mindset or our own beliefs, we somehow think we're not worthy of receiving it. So it's just like such a powerful way to see this equation. It's like, well, wait a second. If I stop creating reasons as to why I can't have what I want, it would naturally flow to me. And that's why with manifestation, such a large part of it is the surrender. It's the sitting back and allowing it just to flow to me. And often it's like through meditation, through relaxation, when we're out doing things we enjoy and we're just in like that high vibe energy, what we want comes in. Right? It's like we sit back, we relax, it comes in, because it's natural for the things we desire to flow to us, and the only thing that blocks it is our self-imposed limitations, is the resistance, is these like stories we create as to why we can't have it. Okay, so let me catch up on these comments. If you're jumping in now, thank you for the hearts, and feel free to say hi so I can welcome you in. Hello, beautiful Kate and Elizabeth. Hi, goddess. Donna has a bad connection. Oh no, I hope this is coming through okay. Laura, that makes sense. How do we rid ourselves of these self-made blocks? Yeah, that is the key, right? How do we stop doing that? So I can definitely touch on that. Hi, Rashi. Oh, thank you, goddess. Good to see you. Shannon's here too. Cool. Okay, yeah, so how do we stop doing that, right? How do we stop, like, how do we block the flow? Why do we do it? And I think there can be many different reasons, and the best way to like escape from that pattern is to stop listening to that inner critic, to stop listening to the fears. Sometimes we make up these stories about our reality that aren't even true. So it's being aware of the beliefs that guide our life, that govern our life, right? What are those core beliefs about who we are, our ability to create, our ability to attract what we want? What are those core beliefs, and are they real? Are they serving us is maybe the best question to ask. Not so much are they real, are they serving us? Is the belief that I hold in alignment with what I want? Does it make me feel good? Does it make me feel expansive? Or is it blocking me in some way? And then it really is a choice. Like, I know blocks can seem so strong, it can seem permanent, the same with our beliefs, right? It can feel like they're so ingrained, but it starts by recognizing that it is a choice, right? A belief, like Abraham Hicks says, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So how do you shift that? You think a new thought, you focus your energy somewhere else. So even just having this realization that those blocks, which really a block is just like a belief system that's not in alignment with what we want, it's recognizing that it was a choice, right? Like I'm choosing to engage and to continue to believe this, and I can choose something else, right? Once we're aware, once it comes into our conscious awareness, we get to choose again. And this has been a practice I've been doing lately, is like aligning with my higher self, which we can so easily access in the space of the Akashic Records. You don't have to be in the records to access this. I'm not saying that's the only way by any means, but it's knowing, right? Like the voice of your higher self is always based on knowing how worthy you are, how valuable you are, how powerful you are, that you get to have the life experiences you desire. So any belief that is in contradiction to that or does not support it is just coming from the fear mind. It's just an old story. It's just an old pattern. And now that you're aware, like be grateful you're aware of it so you can begin to release it. You can think a new thought. You can activate a new energy and a new vibration to draw something else into your experience. Okay, hi Nikki, how are you? Amanda, hello beautiful. Rashi, totally resonate with what you're saying. I'm going through lots of big transitions right now. They're happening in the background, but I can't really control it yet. Still causing me anxiety. Yes. Oh, sending love to you, Rashi. And you know what? Like I talked a little bit about this idea of like trust and surrender when we're in Pisces season, and it just, your comment reminds me of that, right? It's like, because that's the hardest. It's easy to be high vibe and trust when we know all the details and we know how it's going to pan out. And I think like the main lesson in Pisces season is, can I trust the universe when I don't know all the details? When I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, can I still be in that place of trusting myself, trusting that all is unfolding as it's meant to? And that really is like the test, right? Because it can cause a lot of anxiety when we don't know. Okay, so if you're just jumping in, definitely say hi. Erin's here as well. Let me know if you have any questions around that or if that resonates, this idea that blocks are an illusion. They don't have to be in the equation unless we choose to bring them in to the equation. And since we have that freedom of choice, we get to choose again. And we don't have to like make up things about our reality, about who we are, about what we're able to attract that just don't serve us. And that's another beautiful reminder with Pisces season. It's like, expand your imagination, use your imagination for good, because our imagination could be used to like bring up some pretty scary things, or we could use our imagination to bring up some pretty amazing things. And in the realm of the records, it is that space of like, it's infinite possibility. So something I even do if I notice like my mind going to worst case scenario, or I'm falling back into like an old pattern of anxiety or worry, I'll even like acknowledge that that may be a possibility, but what else is possible? What else is possible in this moment? And it helps me kind of expand into the infinite possibilities, right? Like, sure, maybe the worst case scenarios are possible, but so are the best case scenarios, and what would that look like? So we're consciously like using our mind to create stories, to create a belief system that serves us, that feels aligned and expansive. Erin, hello, beautiful. Rashi, my birthday is March 19th. Oh, it's coming up. That's exciting. Awesome. Janelle, hello. Oh, it's morning where you are. Cool. Good morning. It is evening in my part of the world. I love that we have people all over the world, all different time zones. I was scheduling a session with someone the other day and saying like, I think I have all the time zones memorized now. Just like, I think I've got them all down. Okay, so I also want to share a little bit about this idea of Mercury retrograde. It may seem like it's not related to this idea of blocks, but I'm just feeling really guided and called to talk about this as well. And in a way, I think it actually is, because sometimes we use Mercury retrograde as a reason, as an excuse to go into victim mode, right? To go into fear mode, or to give our power to something outside of us. So in astrology, Mercury governs communication. It governs the mind. It governs our style of learning. It even governs local travel. So that's why, you know, some people talk about Mercury retrograde. There can be issues in the things that Mercury rules over, like communication with one another, technology, travel. But I always feel like we are also powerful creators, and we get to choose how we interact with the energy around us, including the energy in the planets. And I also feel that the universe is always working to support us. It's never trying to hold us back. So we can use Mercury retrograde as a time to go into that victim mode, use it as an excuse, or we can use it as a time to empower ourselves. So we want to be really careful about the stories we create around Mercury retrograde. And I mean, sometimes I even like joke around with it, like, oh, let's blame Mercury retrograde for this, right? But Overall, we are powerful creators, and we don't need to make up stories in any area of our life, including about what's going on in the planets, if it's not serving us personally. And I think the best way to work with this time when Mercury is in retrograde, because often we hear about like the scary things, but it's actually Mercury retrograding is that invitation from the universe to step back a little bit and to integrate your knowledge, because we're kind of living in a world now where we're always like, there's so much information always available to us, right? Like we can easily just consume, and if we're always doing that, we get into a place of overwhelm where we're not actually like processing the information coming in. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it is that invitation to take a step back and to process the knowledge and wisdom that you already have, to retreat a little bit. And in the sign of Pisces, like the amazing good things that it's doing right now is like activating our imagination. It's teaching us the different ways that we receive information, right? We receive information like through our intuition, through like trusting our gut instinct. Like there's all these amazing things that are happening around this Mercury retrograde that don't need to put us into like a place of fear or confusion. And even further than that, like as an astrologer, I do believe this is a co-creative process, that we're never a victim to the energy in our birth chart or what's currently happening in astrology. We get to have fun in co-creating with the energy, and there's always a way to use what's happening in the cosmos, to use what's happening in astrology in a highest form of expression. Like there's always so much beauty and so much wisdom in it, because astrology represents like these cycles and rhythms that we go through in our life. It's a reflection of the patterns that we go through internally, and that's why I feel we connect with it so much. So really Mercury retrograding is just this invitation to take some time to process and look at the beautiful variety of ways that we can receive information, including trusting and listening to our intuition, taking time sometimes to step back and reflect. So let me know if this is resonating here. Hello, Katrina. How are you, beautiful? Janelle saying 100%. Awesome. Kate, you are so divine. Oh, sending love to you, Kate. You are amazing. I know you did a video on this the other day too, and I loved how you were just sharing like the positive ways to see Mercury retrograde. And I'm so glad like more of that information is getting out there, and we're realizing like how powerful we are, and like this is a beautiful co-creative process, right? We don't need to be a victim to any of this stuff. Janelle, so true. I say to people as well, I do not accept Mercury retrograde is going to affect me negatively. I'm loving this energy. Yeah, it's so true, right? It's just what we put out there, right? It's like the universe is always kind of reflecting back to us what we believe. So it's like every thought we think, everything we put out there is an affirmation. So I have no doubt that some people may experience a lot of difficulties with Mercury retrograde if that's the expectation and that's the energy. But you can also expect it to bring really good things your way, right? Harmonious communication, and just again using it in that highest form of expression as a time to like retreat, to integrate the knowledge and information you have. And especially in Pisces, it's just a beautiful reminder that there's different ways to receive information, and our intuition is always speaking to us. Pisces season is about trusting your intuition, like trusting that gut feeling and allowing that to guide you, like being okay with trusting that, even if it logically doesn't always align. Kate, I agree with the retrograde. I find it was highlighted things I needed to work on. Yeah, I can do that too, right? We can see it as a way to like step back and say, okay, like what's really getting my attention right now? What do I need to focus in on? Staying positive gets you through life. Yeah, absolutely. We always have that choice for sure. Okay, I was just scrolling over, seeing if there's any questions or comments jumping out. Okay. Awesome. Janelle, dream time, very active. Yeah, Pisces season and dreams, oh my goodness. Has anybody else been finding that? Just like really crazy dreams, or maybe insights in dreams? Like we can receive messages in our dreams as well if we're open to that. Like you can keep a dream journal by your bed and receive messages through that avenue. All right, so I also want to say my new program, you may have seen me talk about it online, Rise Up Goddess, Claim Your Destiny, Release the Fear. I now have one spot left for one amazing goddess who wants to go more deeply in this journey. And as part of the private coaching, we will be doing so much goodness with astrology, with working with your divine soul blueprint in the Akashic Records. You will learn how to release any of the fear patterns on a deep cellular level that are holding you back from claiming your destiny, from doing your soul's work in the world, from reaching clients with your message and services, from like filling up those programs, to just knowing that how to manifest with ease. Basically, that when you have a desire, you will learn how to become that energetic match to it and call it in with greater ease. So if this has been speaking to you, definitely reach out. I would love to give you the details. And the reason I only have, I have so many spaces available for the one-on-one is I do really deep work with my one-on-one clients, and it's not just in our sessions, it's ongoing communication in between sessions as well. So, often things pop up in our day-to-day. There may be a fear that we need to talk to, right? Like we need somebody to talk to about it, or something we need cleared, or like advice we need in between the sessions. So that is available to you as well. So it's all about like stepping up, claiming that destiny. We have to claim it. Like when you look at your birth chart, you see your life path, you see your gifts, you see what your soul came here to do, but then you still have to say yes to it. You have to say, yes, I'm choosing to go on this mission. So this is about holding space for you to fully step up and like claim that in your life, to claim that powerful creator that you are, and to release any of the fears or blocks that prevent you from fully stepping up and manifesting what you want. So there's a lot of like light workers and healers coming in, and we're working on creating that expansion in their business, reaching those soulmate clients, and just, again, clearing away any of the patterns, any of the beliefs, any of the energies that are not in alignment, to just being out there and being in the energy of wealth, abundance, joy, all that goodness. So definitely reach out if this is speaking to you, and I can give you the details and see if it's the right fit for you and your journey at this time. All right. Oh, Kate, I would love to work more closely with you, goddess. I'm going to send you all the details, beautiful. All right. Thank you for hanging out today. Rashi, this is Kara's live space. Awesome. Okay, I think that's like a personal conversation back and forth. So awesome. Okay, so message if you're interested in those details. Thank you so much for hanging out today, for sharing this space with me. Enjoy this Mercury retrograde. Enjoy it. Set good intentions around it, and notice how as you have those positive intentions around it, you will have a different experience with this energy. So sending so much love and light to you all, and I will see you very soon. Bye.